Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Friday, the 6th of December. I am Flatcap Callum. Ooh, just adjust myself there, it's a bit of a hard seat. And I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Okay, Friday, we've had quietness so far. We've had a little try on, was it Tuesday with a couple of zebras. Then we had Thursday with some bottom basement barrel stuff. We'll do the review of that in a minute, but basically Friday, what happens when you combine zebras with bottom basement? You get a 5-horse bet, 3 on the all-weather, 2 at Exeter. So that's what we've got. 14.50, our highest stake of the week, higher than the last 2 days put together. We've only invested £11 so far this week, but 14.50, 5 horses. I will warn you, for those of you like it simple, I have made it more complicated. So it's, yes, you can make your choices. I'll tell you the easy way to do it, and I'll show you the way that I'm doing it for the channel. But yes, there's a bit of complication with the 5-horse bet today in terms of how I've configured it. It is Thursday night ramble night. I'm going to kind of keep it on the ease tonight. I'm a bit tired for video making, so we'll do the tips league and just give you a few stats from November, and I think that's it. You never know, there might be something else I'll chuck in, but that's what we're aiming for. Alright, so Thursday's review, 650 on, 184 back. We didn't quite get there. So Running Red Blood was 4th, which was paid out for 365. Paddy, Sky, Betfair and Unibet. I think it's those 5. I think it's top 5 on that one. I think Betway and Betfred struck it off. So those top 5 paid out. Then Lord Rapscallion, which was our horse of the day. It was the only starred horse. Just waited for a run, didn't get the best of it, and then when he did come, flew like a rocket, and he needed basically about 10 more yards and he would have won the race, beaten ahead. So that would have been us in profit had we got over the line. We didn't. And then that horse had some sort of terrible run. I mean, I don't know. You can say the draw was unkind, but the jockey Danny Muscat really didn't make the best of it at all. Like he sort of found himself stuck really wide with a horse that was being a bit niggly, and went round so far wide after the horse had been backed into favouritism. And then in the straight, it was just a horrible race for that horse. Positionally terrible. And that one wasn't quite good enough to get the frame. So 184 back. So I think this week we're 11 on, 184 back, something like that. Down about £9. That's where we find ourselves. Just getting the right bit of paper. I haven't got the papers in the right order today, so because last night when I did the papers, it's like sometimes you use a notepad and you miss a blank page. I had to go back and use a blank page. Anyway, right, I won't worry about that for you. So let's get on with what I'm doing, because you don't care about my stationary woes. So Friday's bet, we've got 2 at Exeter, 2 at Newcastle and 1 at Dundalk. They're the 5. They are all starred. I had about 8 races on the shortlist, whittled it down, and I'm happy to put out the best 5. They were the only ones that hit the star system. The ones that fell short weren't starred, and the prices weren't brilliant. So I'm happy just to go with what I think is the best 5 of the day as far as I'm concerned. There is some specific bookie advice as well with it. Okay, ready for complication. Is a busy piece of paper for you. Right, let's go through this. So 1 o'clock Exeter. It's a 7-runner race. Sky, Betfred, 365, Corals and Ladbrokes are paying the 3rd place. They are the best bookmakers for this bet. I'll get onto more specifics in a bit later, but they are the best bookmakers for this bet on the basis of this 1 o'clock Exeter, where the 3rd place could come in handy. So I'm going Stormy Flight, rank outsider, 28 to 1. You can get 33s in places, but 28 to 1. My sort of horse, really. It's a 10-year-old horse. It's the oldest in the race. It's the one that's most exposed, as people would describe it as. It's also the one that's got some excellent course and distance form. So in the last 12 months, it's went to Exeter over course and distance and won both times. It's £1 higher than the last win and £4 higher than the win before. It's handicapped to be competitive. This will come down to 2 things. One is it had a duffer first run of the season, but usually it does need its run to come on. But that was a particularly bad run, so we need it to move on from its first run of the season. That's one question mark. The other is, how good are some of the others? Because you've got 3 horses who've only ever run in one chase race, and one that's never run in a chase race. And this Stormy Flight's one of 3 that have got multiple experience. So it's by far and away the most experienced, which could come in handy in this race. Exeter's not necessarily, I would say, the best chase track to kind of earn your stripes on and stuff. It's a bit hard work getting some of the fences, I would say. So yeah, there's lots to like about the horse. If you can get the 3rd place on those 5 bookmakers, I think it's decent. And it's only really priced like that because it ran badly last time, which was first time out of the season. It's never come out and won a race first time out of the season, but it's absolutely competitively handicap marked. So if it can bounce back, I think it will be competitive in the mix with some of these potentially more progressive horses, but there's a lot of them have got to prove it. We're then going 3:13 at Newcastle Parlando. It basically, I think my read is it's a better all-weather horse than a flat turf horse. Sorry, flat turf, than a turf horse. Better on the all-weather than the turf. And Newcastle probably is its preferred track if you look through the history of it. And it's been running reasonably competitively. So on the right sort of day, it's one of those ones, because it's a prominent runner. You want to get the pace right at the front. Otherwise, if the pace collapses, the horse can suddenly finish like down the field. So we need it to be up front with a good pace. Whether it will be on the axle front end or just behind, it will be up with the pace. If it's not, they're trying something new. You wouldn't want to go that much lower than 9s. You can get 10s with 3 different bookmakers, but for the purposes of actually trying to achieve these 5 prices together in the accumulator, 9s was the fair price, but there are 3 major bookmakers paying 10s. 3:55 Exeter, our brown-eyed girl in a bumper, 12 runner. What you've got here, the profile of the race, you've got the favourite, which absolutely is the right favourite. The next 3 in the market are all coming in bumper debutants. Outside of that, there's a couple of others that are making debuts, but predominantly most of them have run a couple of times or once on the bumper circuit. And the way I've converted the form, and if I look at what others have, so how that ran in its only run, which albeit was a heavy race, as in heavy ground at Newton Abbot. If you look at what the other horse has done since, it's sort of stacked up. The race was sort of reasonably up to standard in terms of it's not like you've got funny performance figures from other horses. And actually, of all the horses that run in bumper, I make it the second best piece of form, and it's got the mare's allowance in there as well. So yeah, I think it's really overpriced at hundreds. Since it ran in that last bumper, I think it's changed ownership as well, because I think it was sort of family owned and now it's in with some sort of racing syndicate. But yeah, I think if you just went on bare, how did they do in the last time out? It's the second best piece of form. You got 3 in there that are unknown, that are coming from yards that might do all right in bumpers. So this is the chance you take in races like this. What I'm demonstrated, even when it's not been great, is these do come in over time, but you got to be in it to win it. Stacking it in, I'd appreciate this is not what some folk do. They don't stick 100 to 1 shot in bunt with 4 other horses running in handicaps, but that's how I do things. So yeah, you want it to fall right in a bet like this, but it's worth playing and it come out 3-star. 5:20 Newcastle Cavalry Call. It ran well last time out, course and distance. The horses it was second. The horses that were first and third have since come out and backed up that form. I think if you excuse the Wolverhampton run where it got caught out wide, a bit like, what do you call it? Well, that horse we had today that ran at Chelmsford. If you excuse that run, actually, I read the profile actually quite progressive. So I think there's a bit of improvement to come from this. It's only a young horse. And then we're going to finish off one horse at Dundalk, 8 o'clock Dundalk, Wishes and Dreams. There's quite a lot I like about the horse. It has got inconsistent profile, which will put some folk off, but it's going back up to 1.5 miles. At the start of the year, February, March, it ran 2 really solid races over 1.5 miles at Dundalk. The last 3 runs at Dundalk. It's been 1 mile and 2. So I think stepping up in distance is the right thing to do for the horse. I also like the jockey booking. Nicola Burns, she's started quite well this Dundalk season. She's had a winner each of the last 2 Friday nights. She's booked for 6 rides this Friday. She won't be on too many people's radar, but because she's only won 4 races, but 2 in the last couple of weeks, and 3 in total at Dundalk. And yeah, I think she looks good value for £7. Some of these ones you can tell when they get booked for six rides at the meeting, as a £7 claimer, then that means that people are trying their luck with them. So yeah, I think it's a good jockey booking, because the last 2 times, I think one time we had Declan McDonough on, which you never quite know what you're going to get with him, and James Ryan is quality and well worth his £3 when he ran on it. But yeah, Nicola Burns worth £7. I was going to mention actually on flipping back to Cavalry Call, I think it's a Simon and Ed Christopher's horse, and I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. Their figures in the last 2 weeks are unreal. I think it's 6 winners out of 11. I think it is like 55% win strike rate in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, that's another tick in the box for that one. Anywho, right. So they're all 1 star except Our Brown Eyed Girl, because the price is so big. It's made it 3 star. So the bet, 3 parts to it. So these are all 5 horses. And if you want to do this as a Canadian or a Lucky 31, you do that. This is how I'm doing for the channel. So all 5 together is 10 times 10p win doubles, 10 times 10p each way trebles, 5 times 10p each way fourfolds, and 25p each way fivefold. That bit adds up to £4.50. You've then got a 50p each way double on the National Hunt 2. So that's the 2 Exeter ones. So 50p each way double. If you look at the symbol there, try to make it correlate. So Stormy Flight and Our Brown Eyed Girl, 50p each way double on those 2. And then the 3 all-weather horses, so 2 at Newcastle, 1 at Dundalk, a 25p each way Trixie. So that's Parlando, Cavalry Call, Wishes and Dreams, 25p each way Trixie. What I've done here, which is what I haven't done so far, with some of the bets I've been doing, I've basically tried to put a little bit more weight on the lower level multiples. So I've and tried to done a bit of group in there with the National Hunt ones and the all weather ones. So all of that adds up to £7.50. So if you did a 15p each way Canadian, it'd add up to £7.80. So you wouldn't be too far different in terms of actual stake. The difference if you did something like that is you've got a bit more running on all combinations of treble and fourfold, whereas what I'm trying to do is sort of have a little bit of a lean on some of the smaller multiples. Hopefully that makes sense, but you can make your choices. And then we've got 2 75p each way singles, so that's Stormy Flight and Wishes and Dreams, the mid-priced horses, 75p each way singles. £1 win singles on the 2 shorter ones, Parlando and Cavalry Call, and £1 each way single on Our Brown Eyed Girl at 100 to 1. Total is £14.50. Sky come out best because there are 3 races. They've got an extra place compared to most bookies. Betfred are second best because they have got an extra place in 2 races compared to most bookies. And then it's 365 Coral and Ladbrokes because this 1 o'clock Exeter. That is it. £14.50. Okay. Bets done, review done, tips the league last week. So tips the league, we had 59 entries, same as the week before. 15 winners last week though, and 1 break even, 43 losers. So, and let's see if we can do this without revealing everything. So top 10 last week. Gizzy Stripe, £85. Well done, Gizzy. You are not a name that usually appears in here. Graham and Secret Lemonade Drinker, who's not been around for a bit on the old Tips League scoreboards, £80, joint second. Drawman, £75, which has put him now into 4th in the top 10 overall. Then we've got Matt London, £35. Fraser Brunton, £34. Well done, Fraser. He tries his art out to try and actually get the staking right, and he's done it, £34. And then John P, 3500, £20, and Marcus Stanley, regular on the channel, £13.20. So November, Paulie Witt, well done. Paulie Witt wins November, 255. Drawman 203, silver medal for November, and John Hurahan at £180. you are getting a bronze medal fictionally sent to you in Spain, John. So that is Tips League. Not much else changed in the top 10 other than Drawman's in. Conscious, oh no, my battery's flagging up now telling me that that's going to go. So I'll try and briefly tell you. Stats for November, we were minus 28.99 is where we finished. That left us minus 380 for the year, so a big mountain to climb for December. So that's over the 12-month period, but bear in mind for 6 months basically wasn't doing anything, so it's sort of 6 months rather than a full year. It does mean officially, if we look at the last 12-month period of time, we are in a loss now, because last November was really good. December we made profit, but only a small one, so it wouldn't cover the loss of the 380. So that's not where I want to be. Winners, I'm going to talk about winner strike rate. If you look at all bets I put out, so not just stars, all bets, we had 4 winners in September, and that was only a short period of time. 5 in October for the full month was dreadful, but that was followed up by November. In the whole of November, I put out 90 odd horses in different bets for different things. So not all star ones, but 90 horses, 2 of them won. That is some of the worst stats you'll ever hear. And then December, we go and rock up 3 winners in one day in December. So December's already better than November for winners. If you actually look at play strike rate, overall bet, September was absolutely on the money where I'd want it to be 32%. October, November were basically around the 20% mark, which was bad for my stats. December, very small sample size. I've only had 13 horses. 6 of them are framed, which means we're 46%. So artificially very high at the moment for December. We've still got 5-6 of the months to go. And then I was going to say as well, on Sunday we obviously had a decent day. It was a £100 plus day. That is the 17th £100 plus return day we've had on the channel. That's the second one in 2024. We had 4 in 2023 and 11 in 2022. We were doing a lot more bets and a lot more turnover in 2022. It was a particularly good year. But yeah, 1100 plus days in 2022. 4 last year, 2 this year with the 25 odd days to go. £200 plus days. We haven't had any this year. Last year, 3 out of the 400 plus ones were actually 200 plus ones. And the year before, 2022, was only 4. So what you found in 2022, we had a lot of days of getting over the £100 mark. We were betting higher stakes, so you would expect that, definitely. But only 4 days over 200, whereas last year we had 3 over 200. What we really want this year is a day in the next 25 days to get us over 200 and then take a big chunk off. I think I'll leave it there because otherwise the laptop's going to die on me. All right, you have a good day. I'll be back. I think it might be Saturday morning, possibly Friday night, but it could be Saturday morning. I will update and let you know when we're back for Tips the League and whatever bets we've got for the weekend. Thank you very much. That is me. Bye-bye.